In the headlines, Dominica's first COVID-19 patient placed under 3-week home quarantine after making a full recovery. The public warned against using drugs and alcohol as coping mechanisms to address COVID-19 related stresses. And Dominicans joined the rest of the world to observe one of the most unusual Easter weekends ever. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
Giving away $30,000 in cash, 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
We're flowing better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch the flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
We flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. And mettez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, Dominica's first COVID-19 patient sent home earlier this week after making a successful recovery. The man in question was discharged after his test returned negative. Frontline healthcare workers ensured that the man received the necessary instructions before he could leave the facility.
You don't have any coronavirus now.
No.
You was cured, okay?
Yeah.
But however, you need to pass quarantine at home for 2 or 3 weeks.
When I get back to London.
Yes, it's in order to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you
Before
need to clean
London.
your house.
Before London.
Yes, you need to clean your house, you need to eat well, everything. And you need to use all the time mask, even inside of the house.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Very good.
He was told to be careful and to ensure that he wore a face mask like everyone else.
I just want to say thank you to every single person, nurses, cleaners, whatever, No complaints. Looked after me very well. I'm very, very happy.
Thank you very much for that. This is the most important,
Doctors,
okay?
everyone, very excellent.
Okay,
Very good.
thank you very much.
All of you deserve a pat on the back, every single one of you.
Government has been criticized for initial challenges in accommodation for Dominicans who had to be quarantined. One individual who claims to have been in quarantine says there may have been some initial challenges, but her experience was a good one.
I've been hearing a lot of negativity about the quarantining process that's been happening in Portsmouth. I actually just got home today from my 14-day stay, and honestly, my experience was great. I had a great 14-day experience. The nurses were superb. They really treated us great. They made us comfortable. They were very accommodating. Big up Nurse Revere, Thomas, and Frederick one time. Thanks, guys. Love you. And the meals, we had 3 full meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And the meals were, I'd like to say, well proportioned, because I guess they tried to cater to everybody's needs. So there were 3 great meals a day. The place that we were staying was a really nice place. I had a balcony with a great view. I sat outside to breeze every day. They didn't make me feel like I was in prison. I made some great friends along the way. Big up my friends one time. Yeah, but I really had a great experience. I felt like I was on a mini vacation, and I do have to say, like, at first there was a rocky start, because at the airport they took a little time before they could collect us to actually bring us to the place, and then there was a little confusion because they didn't exactly know which area we were going to. But once that was cleared up, everything started just sailing smoothly. Yeah, it was a great 14-day experience. I'd also like to say thank you to the government of Dominica. It was a really rushed process, but you all did a great job. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to come home and for accommodating us. You all really did a great job, so thank you.
In related news, National epidemiologist Dr. Shaluddin Ahmed says Dominica has entered phase 3 of COVID-19 transmission, called the cluster of cases. As of Wednesday, the total number of COVID-19 cases in Dominica stood at 15. Through contact tracing, 8 contacts have been identified as having come in contact with case number 15. Out of the current 15 positive cases, 10 are male and 5 are female. Most of them are from the Laplane and Marigot health districts.
All 15 cases are hospitalized, and all are clinically stable at this stage.
As of Wednesday, 306 people have been tested using PCR testing. 291 of them are negative.
In terms of quarantine facility, currently a total of 16 persons are at the government quarantine facility. A total of 169 persons were sent home following completion of 14-day quarantine period with clear instruction to stay home and keep social distancing.
Social distancing is precisely what Dr. Ahmed says must be done to kill this virus.
No amount of closure of border or curfew or sacrifice of healthcare workers can prevent the spread of this virus, except that each of us play our part and stay home, continue to maintain physical distancing, wear a mask properly if you are outside of your house, practice respiratory etiquette and hand hygiene. These practices are proven to be fruitful. So far in New Zealand, actually, it has been less than 2 weeks that since New Zealand imposed coronavirus lockdown, and number of new cases has fallen for 2 consecutive days. And they are actually gearing towards complete elimination rather than containment, as they plan to complete 4 weeks lockdown.
So far, Dominica has had no deaths due to COVID-19. In more developments, measures being taken by government to protect citizens by minimizing the spread of COVID-19 are not to be taken lightly. 9 young men found that out this week after they were released on bail on Thursday. They were arrested and charged on Wednesday under the Emergency Powers Act for breach of curfew, meaning they had no valid reason for being in a public place. They were bailed and are due to appear in court at a later date. A resolution was passed in Parliament on Monday to extend the existing curfew order, originally due to end on 20th April, for a further 21 days.
What I would suggest is that people focus on the fact that, one, there is in place a state of emergency in Dominica. Two, that there is in place a curfew. And in fact, that curfew is really a 24-hour curfew. And I think that ought to be the mindset that people approach the curfew situation with. And then they may find it easier to understand the meaning, because I have heard a number of questions being raised, some to me directly and some indirectly. But I think those questions arise largely because people fail to realize that the curfew order is really saying that everyone should stay indoors. In other words, they shouldn't be in a public place at all.
Effective 6 p.m. Thursday 9th April until 6 a.m. Tuesday 14th April, no person shall be in a public place unless they are providing or accessing an essential service.
Essential workers are, for the purposes of this order, 13 different categories. 1, Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. 2, Dominica State Prison. 3, members of the judiciary. 4, officers of the Department of Social Services. 5, officers of the Department of Environmental Health Services. 6, Customs officers. 7, Accountant General Division. 8, Inner Revenue Division. 9, Waste Disposal and Sanitation. 10, any hospital or healthcare, medical, residential care, establishment or facility. Staff, Dominica Air and Seaports Authority. Official staff, essential officers of any water, electricity, or other sector encompassing provision of electronic communications, including print and electronic media. And 13, any public officer or category of public officers directed by the Secretary to the Cabinet. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that anybody who is an employee in one of those areas who is not engaged at the time in an employment activity as part of their work can be merrily gallivanting on the streets. Any such person in the categories I just mentioned is permitted to be out in the public place if they are at that time engaged in work or indeed traveling to or from work. Other than that, everybody should be inside.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Avec flow, gagner l'argent, on partit l'argent avec flow. Gagner l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec flow. Animez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre flow. It only gets better with flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps lors qu'on est sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça peut mettre la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au poison et que tant qu'il a vini avec maladie. Servez yon condom chaque fois ou qu'on est sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vive en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Prends responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examinez corps. Aidez du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
$40,000 in cash, 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
We're flowing better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you want to win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Welcome back. The Dominican public being warned not to use alcohol as a coping mechanism during the COVID-19 crisis. Julian Morris explains.
The word of caution from coordinator of the National Drug Abuse Prevention Unit, Martha Jarvis. Jarvis warns that the impact of measures in place to combat the virus, coupled with the vast information on the pandemic, could lead individuals to a level of depression which could then lead them turning to the bottle for consolation.
Now, with poor coping mechanisms, and when I say poor coping mechanisms, persons are unable to deal with that kind of level of anxiety and would turn to things like alcohol or drugs that will kind of create a buffer. Now, in fighting the COVID virus, you need to have a very good immune system, and this immune system helps fight off the virus. Now, persons who drink put themselves at a higher risk of contaminating themselves with the virus when they come in contact and actually becoming infected. Now, we wish that persons would use better coping mechanisms, and that would be focusing on a more hopeful situation.
Apart from using alcohol as a temporary escape, individuals may also turn to other drugs. Jarvis says this also has implications that go against the national effort to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Let's talk about marijuana, smoking marijuana. It's another way of creating vulnerability among the population. Imagine one of the things some guys do when they sit on the block, they share. You know, they have a spliff and they share, and then you have to lick it, and then you're smoking it, and that same saliva that could transmit the virus can go from one person to another. So we are calling on persons to reduce the opportunity for transmission by not using any drugs or alcohol.
The Drug Abuse Prevention Coordinator has commended the move to suspend liquor licenses and the sale of alcohol in stores, noting that restricting access to alcohol is a step in the right direction.
We have seen that in our general population, there's a high rate of consumption of alcohol, and there is also lots of bars around, and persons frequent the bars. There's a high rate of persons who frequent the bars. So by closing the bars and suspending liquor license, you're actually decreasing the availability of alcohol and accessibility of alcohol. So I think that was a good move.
The Ministry of Agriculture has extended its food security program as part of its COVID-19 food plan. Here again is Julian Morris with more.
Last week, the ministry announced its coronavirus food production plan, assuring the public there would be enough food on island during the crisis. One aspect of this plan is a seedling propagation project to ensure farmers had enough planting material to continue feeding the nation. Technical Officer for Projects and Services in the Ministry of Agriculture, Ryan Ansem, says another category of farmers has been included in the project to ensure healthy foods get to all Dominicans.
The Ministry of Agriculture is currently implementing a backyard gardening programming, and that program is basically to guarantee the food security needs of the population. And we are targeting first the most vulnerable, the single household, and is to meet the basic dietary needs of our population. And we want people to eat safe and nutritious food. And so what the program entails, we're going to be propagating seedlings. And the seedlings we speak about is the essentials to provide the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, the starch, and all the basic diet that a family needs.
Backyard farmers are being encouraged to contact the Ministry of Agriculture to benefit from this program.
And we encourage the farmers, particularly the backyard farmers, to call in, text us on the information that they are ready, their space, if they have water, and what gardening system they are willing to implement. And so it is very important that we target the backyard families. And as I indicated, it is to secure the nutritional and the dietary needs of our population.
Mr. Ansem says the ministry also has a plan in place to assist vulnerable groups.
We're also doing a production program where we're going to propagate and plant some of these essential vegetables on the agricultural station so we can provide to the most vulnerable groups. We know there are people without the land space in the backyard, and so we are going to provide some of this food to these individuals.
The ministry can be contacted at 611-3125, 611-3126, 3645 and 3455.
And an Easter with a difference this year. The Easter celebration is the foundation of Christian faith worldwide. Churches across the island have a series of observances and celebratory gatherings to mark the occasion, which culminates on Easter Sunday. This year, however, due to COVID-19, church gatherings have come to a standstill as government seeks to protect citizens from the disease. President of the Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches, Pastor Randy Rodney, agrees that this year will be an Easter with a difference, but says the Easter message is strong in the church and carried throughout the year.
For us as evangelicals, we are very, very strong and foundationally strong on this. The message of Easter is very potent for us, very powerful for us. But as potent as that message is, we believe that it's a 365-day message, so that we take it with us all the time. Meaning that if we can't congregate on what is the Easter weekend, it doesn't bother us, right? Because we carry the message. And I advise people to come from that theological perspective, that the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ means everything to us. That for us is that which gave us the relationship that we have, and put it that way, practically bathes us with the grace that we have. And that grace is not for the Easter weekend. It's for year-round. So that if we are not able to gather around that weekend, we gather every other time before that, and we will gather sometime after that.
Pastor Rodney called on the nation to continue praying for the country and the world during this COVID-19 pandemic.
We believe that from a spiritual standpoint, the realities are such that that's our only hope. It's our only hope because there is no cure, there is no vaccine, and there is so much in the air that is unknown as far as this is concerned. Every day we seem to be given, some new information about this coronavirus. And so we believe that in the absence of the known for man, we need to speak to God, who is the Alpha and the Omega.
In the Catholic Church, the Easter Triduum begins on Holy Thursday, while Easter Sunday is observed worldwide on Sunday, 12th April.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. Animez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Giving away $40,000 in cash, 2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
We're flowing better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you want to win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
To end the news, the headlines again. Dominica's first COVID-19 patient placed under 3-week home quarantine after making a full recovery. The public warned against using drugs and alcohol as coping mechanisms to address COVID-19 related stresses. and Dominicans joined the rest of the world to observe one of the most unusual Easter weekends ever. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed Easter weekend.